meditation on the Larger Catechism this morning looks at question number 84, which reads as follows. Shall all men die? The answer is, death, being threatened as the wages of sin, it is appointed unto all men once to die, for that all have sinned. Shall all men die? The Catechism might have summed it up by just saying yes. All men will die. It is a fact of life. And yet, it's not a natural fact. It's not the way we were made to be. The natural man looks at death as just simply a natural process. In fact, Richard Dawkins, in his book, considers death to be something of a natural process whereby we pass on our better genes from one generation to the next. And so we shouldn't be concerned about suffering and dying. That's just a natural course of nature. What counts is the advance of our gene pool. Well, that's very sympathetic, is it not? We all die. The materialist says that it's just a part of life. Get used to it. The Scriptures provide us a different point of view with regard to death. It's not simply a natural process. Rather, it is a result of our sin. It is a new thing that has come into the created world because of our sin in Adam. You remember when Adam ate of the forbidden fruit, he did so with the knowledge of God's threat, that in the day you eat thereof you shall surely die. Well, he ate, and he died, and all generations thereafter have died in succession after that. There have been some who have escaped death. Enoch walked with God, and he was not. Elijah was carried up by a chariot into the heavens, and so he escaped death. One other person died, but rose again, but his situation was quite different. Jesus died not because of his sin, or his connection with Adam and his sin, but he died because he was bearing our sin. He was the sin bearer, and it's because of that he went to the cross. We die as a consequence of our sin. The Apostle Paul writes that the wages of sin is death. That's the consequence. And what is more, Paul makes the point that you can see that all have sinned because all die. There is a vital connection here between death and human sin. Why is it that people die? Because we are sinners against God. Because God is enforcing His just rule over the world. And His wrath is being demonstrated against the sin of man in this fashion. We all must die. As the writer to the Hebrews says, it's been appointed to man once to die, and after this, the judgment. This is a rather gloomy meditation on death. But it need not be so. Because we have one who's come to conquer death, to make death die itself. There was an article written by John Owen years ago called The Death of Death in the Death of Christ. Death has met its match. Jesus has triumphed over death by His glorious resurrection. And so we are set free from the fear and bondage of death. We who are joined to Christ, for we see that there is life after death. There is salvation in Jesus.